Okay, so our last Leaks Rumors episode on the 2019 and 2020 iPhones was on the 3rd of July. So yeah, more than a month ago. And since then, we've had a ton of leaks, rumors, and reports on all the new iPhones that are coming in 2019 and 2020. So here's everything that happened since. If you want to browse privately and securely, check out Private Internet Access. PIA works on Mac, Windows, iOS, Android, as well as even Linux, and you'll not only be safe when browsing online, but you'll also get access to websites such as Netflix US from outside the US and get access to more movies and more features. Use the link below to sign up for as little as $3.5 a month. Okay, so right after we published the last video at the beginning of July, Slashleaks posted some CAD images of the iPhone 11, the iPhone 11R, and the iPhone 11 Max. And these pretty much confirmed what we all knew in terms of the design of this year's iPhone 11. Now, Sonny Dixon has actually sent over some actual models of the iPhone 11 that we took a look at in this video, so feel free to check that video out in case you missed it and you want to get a general idea of how the iPhone 11 feels like and looks like in the hand. But this design is pretty much confirmed at this point. So yes, we have the exact same design on the front as the 2018 iPhone XS and the 2017 iPhone X, just with that triple lens camera module on the back. However, even though we are not getting a brand new design, the iPhone 11 will still come with some brand new and quite exciting features. There's been a few reports in the past that the 2019 iPhones will actually support the Apple Pencil. And then at the end of July, another report, a brand new one coming from the analysts at CD Research, claims that Apple will indeed be bringing Apple Pencil support to this year's iPhones. They don't really specify which iPhones, but it is quite safe to assume that the iPhone 11 Max would be the one that would most certainly get Apple Pencil support if this is indeed included in this year's iPhones. And yeah, I would really love to read your comments and what do you think about this? Steve Jobs was really against styluses, especially on, smartphones. And personally, I think that unless the stylus is embedded into the phone, like, it is on the Samsung Galaxy Note line, I don't think carrying a separate big pencil just for your phone's small display would be a convenient thing to do for anyone. The iPads are, of course, an exception since you do get a much larger display. You also get ProMotion up to 120 Hz refresh rate, which makes the pencil just feel like you're actually writing on the actual screen. It's very fluid and responsive. So yeah, the 2019 iPhones would not be coming with ProMotion, unfortunately. Now, Ice Universe, a leaker with a pretty good track record in the past, claims that Apple is considering at least a 60Hz, 120Hz display in the 2020 iPhones. So this is definitely something that would not be coming to the 2019 iPhones, maybe just maybe the 2020 ones. And honestly, a ProMotion display would be so amazing to have in an iPhone. On the iPads is just incredible. Even my 2017 iPad Pro 10.5 inch feels more responsive and faster than my 2018 iPhone XS Max does. And keep in mind that the Apple A12 processor that's inside the iPhone XS Max is more powerful than the A10X inside the iPad Pro, CPU-wise at least. GPU-wise, yes, the A10X is better, but having that 120Hz refresh rate panel just makes everything so much more fluid and makes such a big difference. And this is something that we do have at the moment on phones such as the OnePlus 7 Pro or the Razer phone or the Asus ROG gaming phone. Now, not all of them have 120Hz. For example, the OnePlus 7 Pro has 90Hz, but even that is 50% higher than all the other smartphones on the market right now, which have 60Hz. But okay, going back to the whole Apple Pencil support thing, I really do not see Apple making a separate Apple Pencil just for these iPhones. Instead, what the Apple Pencil support for the iPhones looks to me is something that's aimed at users who already have an iPad Pro 3rd generation. Let's say that you're traveling with your iPad Pro and your iPhone, and you just got an email with a document on your iPhone that you quickly want to sign, and you don't want to take your iPad Pro out just to sign it, and you already have the Apple Pencil nearby, so it's much easier and more convenient to do that way. So I think it's more of a matter of convenience rather than something truly innovative and useful. And Apple Pencil support has also been reported by Korean tech website The Investor as well as the Economic Daily News in August 2018. Then shortly after this report, in the second week of July, this alleged iPhone 11 logic board has appeared on Slashleaks. And this pretty much aligns with the reports that we've seen before that the 2019 iPhones will no longer have that L-shaped logic board that we had with the 2018 iPhone XS and the 2017 iPhone X. This also very likely points towards the battery being a rectangular shape rather than, again, that L shape that we had before. And then another report coming from WCCF Tech on June the 17th, 2019 claims that the iPhone 11 Max will have a 3650 mAh battery from the 3174 mAh that we currently have in the iPhone XS Max. So this increase in the battery size does look more credible now that we have the logic board leak as well. Now, considering that the Apple A13 processor would still be based on a 7nm architecture like the A12, but a more refined one, it should be slightly more power efficient. So in the end, we should be seeing a noticeable increase in the battery life. Also, the iPhone 11 Max, for example, is said to be 8.1mm thick from the 7.7mm that we currently have on the iPhone XS Max. So, you know, thicker phone also means a bigger battery. And that larger battery is also possible thanks to the removal of 3D Touch. And here we have another report that confirms that the 2019 iPhones will in fact remove 3D Touch. So this is coming from DigiTimes Taiwan, but this was also reported by multiple other sources before. So yeah, the removal of 3D Touch is pretty much confirmed at this point. And this also means that Apple has more room inside the phone for things such as, you know, that bigger battery that I mentioned before. And as long as Apple integrates this perfectly with a Taptic engine, this should be okay in terms of the functionality. So the iPhone XR, for example, does not have 3D Touch either, and it only relies on the Taptic engine plus a long hold in order to provide that secondary menu option. And speaking of the Taptic engine, 95's Max report from late July 2019 claims a few very interesting things. So I've briefly covered these in one of the previous Uptake News episodes, but essentially, the 2019 iPhones are codenamed D42 for the iPhone 11, D43 for the iPhone 11 Max, and N104 for the iPhone 11R. Same display sizes, same display panels, with the exact same display resolution as in 2018 and 2017. And this report also claims that Apple would be improving the Taptic engine inside the 2019 iPhones. The Taptic engine being that improved vibration motor that we got with the iPhone 6s, and then starting from the iPhone 7, we actually got haptic feedback in the UI for certain actions such as setting up an alarm or secondary menu presses and so on. And this is honestly one of my favorite parts about an iPhone, being able to not just touch but also feel the display tapping back at you. And luckily, some Android manufacturers such as OnePlus and Google have also added a Taptic engine to their smartphones, but Apple's one is still better and more powerful. So if it gets even better, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Apparently, this is codenamed Leap Haptics according to 95Mac. And also according to 95Mac's report, the wide-angle camera module would also support a feature called Smart Frame, which I briefly talked about again in one of the previous Uptake News episodes, but essentially what this is that the wide-angle camera module would also capture and record wide-angle data even when you're not using the wide-angle lens, so even when you're just using the regular module, and this means that you'll be able to crop out rather than just in case you want to bring back some detail in the image. And then the front-facing camera will apparently be adding 120 frames per second slow motion. Personally, I really don't see the point in having this, but hey, it will be a new feature. Also, according to this report, and this was also confirmed by a ton of other sources, we would not be getting USB Type-C on the 2019 iPhones, unfortunately. I just cannot believe how stubborn Apple is when it comes to making this change. We've had USB Type-C on Apple devices since the 2015 12-inch MacBook, and we still don't have it on the iPhones 4 years later. The iPads got it only last year with the iPad Pro in 2018, and yeah, it's really annoying because, for example, when I'm traveling, while I can charge both my MacBook and my iPad Pro using the exact same charger, I do need to pack an extra charger just to charge my iPhone. And by the way, if you have any other modern Android smartphone, this would not be the case, since they do actually use USB Type-C. So Apple is the only major manufacturer stuck in the past with an old and outdated port. Apple's public reason for this is the fact that your old accessories would still be supported, but the reality is very likely income motivated. Apple does make a percentage on each third-party lightning cable or lightning accessory that gets sold. So, you know, by sticking to Lightning, Apple actually makes billions. So why switch? Now, here's something quite interesting. So a brand new report posted by Barclays analysts and shared with Mac Rumors says that LG would also be supplying some OLED panels for Apple in the 2019 iPhones. So Samsung will no longer be the sole manufacturer of OLED panels for the iPhones anymore, and apparently Bowie would follow afterwards in 2020. Now, I know that most of this was probably made in order to reduce production costs. It is well known that Samsung is overcharging Apple for the iPhone X and XS's displays. However, one, this doesn't mean that Apple will drop the prices at all, it just means that their profit margins will be higher, and then two, I'm a bit concerned when it comes to the quality of the display, you know, the display uniformity. Apple usually only has one display supplier for the same line of devices. They do this in order to maintain the display's quality uniformity. By using LG and eventually even Bowie as well, they would need to do rigorous tests to ensure that they all have the exact same brightness, the exact same color shift, and the exact same color gamuts. Now, remember when the OnLeaks leaks pointed towards the 2019 iPhones getting a redesigned mute button? Well, in the actual models that we've received, and in a lot of other reports as well, the redesigned mute switch was nowhere to be found. However, our models were basically what case manufacturers were making so that they could test their cases on. 2021. Now, there is another model, a CNC model, which is a much more accurate model than the case models that we had. Benjamin Gaskin, for example, posted a few photos on this, and Unbox Therapy even did a full video on that. And the CNC model does actually have that redesigned mute switch. Also, the camera module itself now matches perfectly with OnLynx's render from a while back, with that slightly raised glass on the modules themselves, and that seamless transition from the triple lens module to the back of the phone. So aside from the camera, which is said to be a very significant upgrade this year, another new feature will be that reverse wireless charging. And this is something that Huawei and Samsung already have, but essentially it allows you to charge another wireless charging device from the back of your phone. So you'll be able to charge a different smartphone, or even better, the brand new AirPods with the wireless charging case from the back of your iPhone. So this is really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to this feature. And also that larger battery is another hint at this being included. Also, Mako Takara claimed that they actually know the release date, the exact release date for the 2019 iPhones. So apparently Ken Miyauchi, the president of SoftBank, accidentally leaked the launch date of the iPhone 11s, and Mako Takara was the first one to pick that up. And the release date would apparently be September the 20th. There you go, September the 20th is when these iPhones will be released, which would be, again, on a Friday. So this means that the actual Apple event would be the week before, so either on Monday the 9th, or most likely Wednesday the 11th. And now we finally get to the more interesting parts. So we have some pretty big updates regarding the 2020 iPhones, so next year's iPhones. So in a research note obtained by Mac Rumors, Ming-Chi Kuo reports that all three 2020 iPhone models will be supporting 5G, instead of just the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Max like it was initially believed. Now that Apple has also acquired Intel's smartphone modem chip division, they do have more resources to make this possible. Apple would still be using Qualcomm's modems in 2020 iPhones, by the way, but they are planning to switch to their own Apple 5G modems around 2021 or even 2022. And here's something really exciting. So we know that the 2020 iPhones will come with a brand new design and finally a thinner notch. Now in early July, Global Times Taiwan reported that Apple was planning to release an iPhone with full screen Face ID in 2020 just for the Chinese market. So they said that this iPhone will actually lack Face ID entirely in order to have a much more modern design with no bezels and no notches or cutouts. Now I don't really believe this to be true, at least not entirely. Why would Apple release such a unique and new iPhone just for the Chinese market? But we now have some more sources claiming the same thing, that Apple would be releasing an iPhone or even iPhones with just Touch ID in the future. Now, back in 2017, Apple has actually applied for patents showing an iPhone that has a full screen Touch ID system, the same year that Apple killed Touch ID with the iPhone 10 and released Face ID. And then in December 2018, apparently Apple found a brand new patent that shows an iPhone having both the new full screen Touch ID system as well as the current Face ID system. So that iPhone will use both at the same time in order to provide a much more reliable and faster unlock. But luckily, Ming-Chi Kuo has also released a new report literally this month, I mean last week, a few days ago, depending on when you're watching this video, saying that Apple will release an iPhone with both Face ID and Touch ID in 2021, and that all the Face ID sensors will actually be included into the display panel itself, meaning that we would finally be getting a true bezel-less iPhone, you know, the one that Steve Jobs and Johnny Ive have been dreaming for years. And it seems like 2020 might be the experimentation year where Apple might release one iPhone with just that full screen Touch ID. But yeah, let me know in the comments your thoughts on everything that I talked about in this video. What do you guys think about that full screen Touch ID coming back, or, you know, Touch ID coming back in full screen mode, and Face ID? So let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer actually? But honestly, using both at the same time, that's pretty much the best thing ever. Face Unlock and Fingerprint Unlock should be working together rather than against one another. But yeah, definitely subscribe to notifications if you want to see more Leaks Rumors episodes like this one, and definitely give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, this has been pretty much it. So thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Son of Tech, signing out. Cheers.